Welcome into the Ravens Rundown. My name is Joey Peterson. This show is brought to you by Prize Picks, and as promised, we're going to do our first 53-man roster projection after the NFL draft, undrafted free agents, and any free agent signings we've made since then. We're also going to look at notable cuts from this 53-man projection, and we're going to talk a little bit of practice squad as well. I cannot believe it that we are less than 4 months away from the 2026 NFL season kicking off. And if you are as excited as I am, do one big favor. Hit that thumbs up button, like today's video. The schedules are out. Now let's just get on with the rest of the offseason. All right, I think you got 2 quarterback spots. Number 1, Lamar Jackson, obviously. Number 2, Tyler Huntley. I don't think they end up keeping 3 quarterbacks on this 53-man roster. I think they, have one of them for a practice squad type role, and then, I think either that's Vignone or that's Diego Pavia. You'll see who that is at the end of the video. But, man, there's a reason you extended Tyler Huntley in this offseason, because you like him, how he operates this offense, his relationship with Lamar. He's reliable in that QB2 spot. All right, to the running backs we go. I think you take 4. Derrick Henry, Justice Hill, Adam Randall, and Rasheen Ali. That will make up your running back room. You're used to seeing Patrick Ricard in this room, and that's where we got to kind of have that conversation. That's why I believe Rasheen Ali makes it in, because you're used to a Todd Monken type system that uses a fullback, right? You've been used to using a fullback in Baltimore for forever. But now, Declan Doyle is your play caller, and you are going to be using the tight ends as a fullback, okay? So you have a 4th running back spot. You're going to have probably a little bit more tight ends than you're used to as well. But I do think Ali makes it. We'll see 100%. But your top 3, without a doubt, are Hill, Henry, and Randall. To the wide receiver room we go. I think this room is decently simple. Zay Flowers, Rashod Bateman, Devontez Walker, LaJohntay Wester, Jacoby Lane, and Elijah Sarratt. We'll see what happens with Bate in the offseason. I still don't think it's a crazy idea to think that he could possibly get moved, get traded, in my opinion. There's a reason you double dipped at wide receiver so early in the draft, right? You not only took Jacoby Lane in the 3rd round, you then took Elijah Sarratt in the 4th round. Both of those guys I still think are very, very capable of being very good wide receivers in this, next year and in their careers. Devontez Walker, feel like they might think he's got still a little bit of juice left in the tank. So we'll see what happens with Bateman. If a team needs a wide receiver, maybe they'll get him. Ravens get off that contract. He also had a bad year last year. But as of right now, that's an easy 6 for the Ravens. Rate this Ravens roster 1 to 99. Madden style, okay? Let me know your answer down below in the comment section. I really believe it's somewhere probably lower 90s. If they get the center position figured out, it might be a little bit towards the higher end of that scale. All right, let's go tight end room. Mark Andrews, Durham Smythe, Matthew Hipner, and Josh Cuevas. We talked about Ty Petza, the undrafted free agent, possibly making the roster. I just think at the end of the day, you drafted 2 tight ends decently early, so those 2 tight ends can make that roster, right? Josh Cuevas, I know he's a 6th-round pick, and maybe Petza comes out and really, really dazzles. I think they're going to keep him on the practice squad with maybe, bigger plans for him in the future. But as of right now, these are the easy 4. 2 you drafted, 1 you signed in free agency, and 1 that's a grandpa right now, has been on this roster forever. Matthew Hipner, I'm going to need to see a lot from him. We're going to need Matthew Hipner to be a dude, because you lost a dude in Isaiah Likely. The offensive line, here's my starters as of right now, from left to right. Ronnie Stanley at the tackle spot, John Simpson at the guard spot, Corey Bullock, Vega Ioane, and Roger Rosengarten. And then outside of those guys, I think you carry 3 more offensive linemen. I could be convinced it's more than that, though. I think Diego Pounds, the undrafted free agent offensive tackle out of Ole Miss, makes the roster, as does Danny Pinter and Emery Jones. Look, I would be pretty shocked if they don't add another center to this roster decently soon. We talked about it on Wednesday morning. Look, Jameson Hensley of ESPN said that he thinks the Ravens center for 2026 is not on this roster right now. It's on another team's roster. So watch out for a trade. Obviously, if that happens, that'll shake things up a little bit. Speaking of shaking things up, if you want to shake things up in a very, very fun way, go ahead. Download the Prize Picks app. Check out our sponsor of today's show. If you use code HMA, you get $50 in lineups. All you got to do, play a $5 lineup. They are America's #1 sports picks app for a reason. In my opinion, that reason is it's so dang easy to use, and it's a ton of fun. All you got to do is pick more or less on a few player stats and lock in your lineup. And if you truly know ball, like your boy, you're going to be able to watch those winnings roll in. And I don't just say that to say that, guys. I've been winning money on Prize Picks left and right. And if you guys want to copy some of my lineups, like the season-long football one we've got, then go ahead and do so. Took the less on Fernando Mendoza, 6.5 regular season games started. Less on rushing yards for one Mr. Jeremiah Love. And the more on Jordan Tyson receiving yards. So download the Prize Picks app today and use code HMA when you play your first $5 lineup to receive $50 in lineups. That's code HMA. When you play your first $5 lineup to get an extra $50 in lineups. Prize Picks. Clickable link to download the app is in the comments and description of today's video. All right, let's talk defensive linemen. Let's start with the big boys up front. Nnamdi Madubuike, Travis Jones. You signed Calais Campbell in free agency. And then kind of in rotation, Aeneas Peebles, John Jenkins, Rayshaun Benny, 7th-round pick out of Michigan. I think Benny makes the roster. I actually really like the selection of Benny in the 7th. And, of course, his old college coach is your defensive line coach in Lou Esposito. I think adding Calais Campbell was massive. Obviously, Nnamdi's still a little bit of a toss-up with the injury concerns, but those are the 6 if Nnamdi is good to go. On the edge, Trey Hendrickson, Tavius Robinson, Mike Green, Zion Young, and Adisa Isaac. I've got Adisa Isaac start for a reason. Because I think if you add to this room at all with any veteran edge rushing signing, Adisa Isaac is as good as gone. Okay? And it shouldn't surprise anybody. He can't stay healthy to save his life. He's been in the NFL for 2 full seasons, then he's played like 13 snaps. Okay? Sorry, that's not going to get you a spot on the roster. Those top 4 guys, though, those are locks. The linebacker room, I think it's 4. Roquan, Teddy, Trenton, and then Jay Higgins the 4th. I am very curious to see what's going to happen with Trenton Simpson's future past this year. Same with Roquan Smith. But right now, those are the guys. Teddy Buchanan tore that ACL late in last year. Hopefully, he's ready to go week 1. All the reports are that things are going very, very well, and he will be. And if that's the case, he will be a massive, massive player this year. He had a great rookie season. Now with Jesse Minter in there calling the shots, I think that's only going to improve. The cornerback room. Yeah, you can see we split these between nickels, slot corners, and outside corners as well. It's 3 and 3. Nate, Cheeto, and TJ, those are your outside corners. And Marlon, Chandler Rivers, and Keon Martin, those are the guys that will be in the slot. I really, really like Chandler Rivers. I think there is a decent chance he might be a starter at some point in the season. I think that would be a great thing if that's the truth. For Bilal Kone, you see right there at number 46, very, very excited to see what he brings. Obviously, he underwent a gruesome injury in preseason last year, missed the entirety of his rookie year. He was a guy I was very excited about, thought could bring some juice to this roster. We'll see if he can do so in year 2. The safety room, in my opinion, is one of the deepest. Anytime you got Kyle Hamilton in a room, that's automatically going to be a great one. Okay? I think he's the best safety in football, maybe one of the most impactful defensive players in the National Football League. Malachi Starks, I expect to take a big jump into year 2 under Jesse Minter. Jalen Hawkins was one of my favorite value signings in free agency. In fact, I think he was my favorite. And then Keandre Jackson rounding out 50. And then specialists have lives too, Gage. Tyler Loop, Ryan Eckley, and Nick Moore is your long snapper. Tyler Loop, look, I think outside of that game against Pittsburgh where he missed that big kick, he actually had a really good rookie year. And then Ryan Eckley, you drafted 6th-round pick out of Michigan State in the 2026 NFL Draft. He will replace Jordan Stout, the Pro Bowler, who now is in New York. Hey, if you love the Ravens, simple. Hit that subscribe button down below. We give you daily free content like this, no matter what day it is. It could be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. It could be on the weekend like you're watching it right now. Make sure to go ahead and lock us in. So some notable cuts from that. Broderick Washington, save yourself about $4 million right there. Andrew Voorhees gets cut. Robert Longerbeam, even going into year 2, gets cut. Same with Carson Vincent, who you drafted back in 2025. And then Evan Bernstein, who was one of your 7th-round picks this last year, he gets cut as well. Real quick, I do want you guys to name for me down below a player you think gets cut. I think Broderick Washington might be, a really popular name, just given the money you could save and the fact that they've got a little more depth in the interior of that defensive line, and he missed pretty much all of last year suffering with injuries. The practice squad looks as follows. Joey Fagnano, I think, beats out Diego Pavia to the practice squad quarterback. He's 7 inches taller. He has a better arm. Just makes more sense for a fit in the National Football League. If I were picking a quarterback to run my college offense, I'd pick Diego Pavia. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Ty Petza, mentioned him a little bit earlier. I don't think he makes the final roster, but I do think they want to keep him around. I think they would be intrigued by his talent. Nick Dawkins at center out of Penn State. I don't think he makes a roster, but he makes a practice squad, as does Vincent Bernstein. I think Dayton Wade makes it again. Just misses out on that final roster. Dante McMillan, also, I believe, you signed him as a UDFA. He's going to make that practice squad. CJ Okeye, international pathway player. He's going to give you 16 total practice squad spots. Kayvon Wallace, Matthew McDoom, a couple of other UDFAs you signed, like Ethan Burke, Reed Williford, Lardarius Webb Jr., Robert Longerbeam, like we talked about a little bit earlier, Silas Walters, and Dion Wilson Jr. That's going to do it for today's show. We promise you, full 53-man roster projection. This is it. Y'all let me know what you think down below in the comments. Make sure you have me followed on socials. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel as well. And we will see you next time.